Welcome back to 5-Minute Bible Study. We are moving on to chapter 9. This one is called Jesus Heals a Paralytic. So let's take a look at that one. So 9, 1 to 8. Jesus stepped into a boat, crossed over, and came to his own town. Some men brought to him a paralytic lying on a mat. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven." At this, some of the teachers of the law said to themselves, "This fellow is blaspheming." Knowing their thoughts, Jesus said, "Why do you entertain evil thoughts in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." Then he said to the paralytic, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." And the man got up and went home. When the crowd saw this, they were filled with awe, and they praised God, who had given such authority to men. Okay. So, first of all, I like that it says that he went to his own town. He went home. He went to the place that he was most familiar with. Even Jesus had a place he was most comfortable in. But then these friends brought their suffering friend. And they sacrificed their time and their effort to help their friend find healing. And I'm not sure that I'm always that willing. And that is something for me to think about and to adjust in the way I approach life. And what am I willing to do to help others around me, especially friends, find healing? And then I thought, they must have looked confident or expectant, because it says that Jesus could see their faith. They're bringing this man in. They're looking to him to do something. Their faith must have been so obvious. And I liked what Jesus said when he said to him, "You know what, guys? Be encouraged. Your slate is completely wiped clean. Paralysis is actually the least of your worries. You came here seeking healing from paralysis, but that's actually not your biggest problem. But because of your faith, I'm helping you with your biggest problem, with your sin and your weaknesses. I've one-upped you. I've bettered you. I have forgiven your sins because of the faith I see in you today." And then he calls him son, which I thought, what a beautiful term of endearment to a stranger who was probably so nervous to approach him at all, but then to be addressed with the name son. A welcoming term. Clearly he's not rejecting him or turning him away. And how many times does he tell us that we are his sons and daughters? He's not rejecting us. He's not turning us away. Then the teachers of the law were all like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's blaspheming. What the heck is he saying?" And it's because they would never say it, because they knew they couldn't do it. They could never go to someone and say, "Hey, your sins are forgiven." They knew it wasn't true. They didn't have that power. And maybe they just assumed that Jesus was on the same level as them and that he didn't have the power either. So why the heck is he saying these things? And then because he knew their thoughts, which that should have been obvious that he was different, he asks, "Why do you entertain these evil thoughts," or whatever he says, "these evil thoughts in your hearts?" Not why do you have them. It's not wrong to have them. But why do you entertain them in your heart? You can have them in your head. They pop up in your head. But the evil thoughts grow in your heart. And so why are you entertaining them? Why are you transferring them from your head to your heart and giving them life? And then he asks a tricky question where he says, what's easier? Telling a paralyzed man to get up and walk, or telling him his sins are forgiven? And this sounds like an absurd question because, to be honest, both sound pretty tricky. Both sound pretty impossible. Especially to the teachers. They must have gone, "Well, I can't do either one." But Jesus says, "Just so you know that I wasn't bluffing on the forgiveness." And then he turns to the man and says, "Get up, walk. Show them that you're not paralyzed anymore. Show them that your life has legs. Show them that I have healed you and made you whole. Because if I can do that, then the visible is going to prove the invisible. And I said your sins are forgiven and that you have a clean slate, and you do. but I can't show that. So I'm going to show your healed legs to represent your healed heart. And I loved that this man got up and walked around. I could not imagine what his face or reaction must have been. And did Jesus smile when he saw his excitement? And what was everybody else's reaction? It says that they were led to praise. They were in awe. This miracle pushed people towards God, which is what is the goal of every action in life, is to direct people towards God. And so that's what I got out of today. I need to definitely grow in my faith. But I love that Jesus, just his personality, and that he put them in his place, not in a rude way, just in an obvious way. Show them you can walk to prove what I said was true. We will move on tomorrow, but subscribe, because that would be awesome.